So today was more so a lesson in so many ways in human behavior. Like just walking outside, we had so many things happen. One, was a compliment, a blessing, saying, we're beautiful twins. The other was an old man. He came with a paper, and the paper was saying how marijuana is the cause of mental illness and violence. And in learning this, I believe that this was a sign to not indulge in carnal desires. Because once you indulge in these carnal desires, it opens like your, people say it's your third eye, but I think this is where your lowest self is, like that chakra that's just like need, that needy chakra that just wants stuff. And once you can control that addiction or whatever problem or whatever self desire that you have, I believe that you can conquer and overcome absolutely anything, and for as well as like having firmness and faith.
Yeah, and also the test of ibadah is upon all women in this in this generation. I feel as though we need to go back and look at the story of Maryam. May Allah be pleased with her. She was a woman of prestige and honor in Allah's eyes, and she is one of the four women of the universe, which is a very high saluted position that no woman in this world can beat her place. Like she's already there. She already got that spot, and we can all go under. So that's something that we should always look back at her situations and apply it to ourselves. So ibadah in Arabi is just gossip, talking about people's sexual life and things that they do, rumors, lies upon people. So I feel as though it's important to always think about how Miriam handled that situation and always use what she did in that moment when everyone accused her of having illegal intercourse before marriage because she wasn't married and she had a baby, and that she was silent. So I think it's best to just always try to just remove yourself from any situation that gets to that point.
And what she did was she remained silent, but in a way that was honorable, not in a way that was like, okay, I'm guilty of a crime. Her silence was because that Allah had given her justice through her child. But in a scenario of an ordinary person, I believe that silence and patience is the key thing in this kind of situation, because if you're silent as well as you're patient, you will be the one who is most victorious in the situation and in the end in life. So that's why you shouldn't be worried about what little things, little barks or dogs barking or just a chaos that happens in your life. People may say and lie on your name all the time. Whether it's true or not, the righteous will prevail. And those with best character and best intuition will lead. And I believe that is the best way of leading life.
Right now, we are in a transition stage. So this is one of the most challenging points in this life because we're literally put into what this dunya is, which is, I love that it's like kind of like a field trip. Like Allah put us on a field trip to understand what being a hotel is, understanding that the hotel is el dunya. And what I learned in the hotel is going to stay with me for the rest of my life, because what I learned in this hotel was the story of how the Kaaba was built, and thinking about how Ibrahim and Ismail's relationship, his father could never really be with him. He never got to have his father with him, but he was always so grateful for his father because he knew that this was Allah's commandment. So Allah made it hard for them in a sense, because it was for a reason though. Everything's for a reason. He couldn't see Ismail because the love of Allah would be tested, because the love of a father for his son may overweigh his love with God. So in this scenario, Ismail was always honored to any mission that God sent him with his son. So one day when Ibrahim alayhi salam was older and he went to visit his son, he said, Allah has sent me to you because they hugged. You know how fathers and sons act. They hugged and were emotional and they were happy to see each other. And he said, oh, well, Allah sent me here because he sent me on a mission with us, me and you together. So Ismail said, okay, come on, let's do it. He was excited to know what Allah wanted him to do. So he said, we're supposed to build this Kaaba is the place for worshiping Allah as his house. It's going to be right here where the Zamzam water, originally the land of the Zamzam water, which is where Ismail resided in, which is Mecca, the holiest place in the world. And so, yeah, they built the Kaaba, and he went back to his life. Ismail and Ibrahim parted ways again. And just knowing that, he knew that he wasn't going to really be able to be with his son and got to love his son the way he wanted until he succeeded in this dunya. And that's why I brought it back to the hotel, because the hotel is an example of how short this life is. Like, you sitting in a hotel is how long? Like, it's not going to be long. You're not going to be here long. A couple days, maybe. No more. I never would ever stay in a hotel for a year. That's pretty crazy, but it's still just a sign.
It's definitely a sign that we are just travelers. We are not here to stay. And as long as we do what's good and right and always have God in the top of our head, we'll never go in the wrong path. We'll never fail. Allahumma ameen.
Allahumma ameen.
And I learned today that in the story of Maryam, when her mom gave birth to her, she made a duet, which caused the babies not to cry. And she said, I seek refuge in Allah from shaitan, with her and within her offsprings. And so when she was born, she did not cry. She didn't see the shaitan. I didn't know when babies, that's why babies cry when they're born. It's because they see what's around them and they're afraid of it. It's like, it's like, whoa.